Hello, and welcome back for anyone that was here yesterday. As usual, I am Corey Campbell. I am thankfully back to streaming. Yesterday was my first stream back after about a 2.5 week break, and it felt great. And also was like a really great stream going on Social Truth, playing my character, channeling my inner Ben Shapiro as best I can. Still trying to refine that character. And also the raid from F-Bombs, the raid from the Mighty Joe. It was just an all-around really fantastic stream, which I'm super appreciative of. But today, I have a chat scheduled in a few minutes with a fellow scientist, ThePeerReview. If I remember correctly, they are a molecular biologist pursuing their PhD, molecular biology. So I think that should be an overall really great conversation. And actually, I should probably shout them out. And I believe they have a YouTube channel. Because I've seen them interview a few other people. I'm gonna try and find their interview, their YouTube channel. Moment. Yes, that is their. So, that is their YouTube channel, I believe. Pretty sure. I've seen them, so I think they spoke a few weeks ago with Scott from Fabian Liberty. And actually, it was Scott from Fabian Liberty who referred me, or rather, who referred him to me. And I've seen the peer review chat with him, other fellow streamer, much bigger streamer than I am. That was also an interesting conversation. And I watched the conversation between Scott and the peer review, and it was definitely an interesting conversation that went in many different directions. And I think it probably went in directions that the peer review did not expect it to go in. But that's scheduled, I think, for a few minutes. I think they are setting up right now. Keep an eye on my Discord. Check. But we're gonna get right into it in the meantime while they're setting up. There is still some news to cover. In fact, there's a lot of news to cover. I just have a backlog of stuff that I want to get through. But, as I think most people are aware, monkeypox is making the rounds globally. And it appears to having a disproportionate effect on the United States. So, the CDC, monkeypox in the US, unlikely to be eliminated in the near future. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention issued a new technical report describing the past, present, and future of monkeypox in the United States. The agency expects that the disease will not be eradicated in the US in the foreseeable future. For now, the agency is focusing vaccination efforts on people who are most likely to become infected. In a new technical report, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say that the spread of monkeypox in the United States is slowing, at least for now. So far, as of September 23rd, 2022, there have been about 25,000 reported cases in all 50 states. The District of Columbia and Puerto Rico, 94% of are in men. Global total of reported cases, 68,428, which, this is probably an underreporting, most likely. And it seems like, roughly, or almost exactly a third of the cases are in the United States. But again, there are probably countries that have, higher rates of it. but due to, lack of testing or the fact that, testing for this is not a priority, they probably have, greater numbers there. Maybe. But it's that it's going undetected. And, maybe this is slightly inflated because, the United States is a developed country and they, generally speaking, have better testing infrastructure overall. But it's hard to say. Like, is this, what is the true reason as to why it appears that the United States is disproportionately affected by monkeypox? Hard to say. Or at the very least, epidemiologists are in a much better position to say than I am. The CDC report predicts that a domestic transmission of monkeypox in the United States is unlikely to be eliminated in the near future. While monkeypox is not usually fatal, the few reported cases of deaths have involved people with severely compromised immune systems. It is still an unwelcome experience. It is characterized by swollen lymph glands, fever, muscle aches, and painful blister-like rash appearing on the face or at the infection site. I believe they might be ready. Keep an eye on my Discord. The CDC data show that in the United States, infection with monkeypox currently tends to occur largely among men who have sex with men. Infection with monkeypox requires close personal contact. Monkeypox can spread through an infected person's breath during intimate physical contact, such as kissing, sex, or cuddling. It can also be transmitted through saliva by direct contact with fluid from sores and by its infectious rash. The good news is that there are effective vaccines against monkeypox based on vaccines for the genetically similar smallpox. The CDC encourages people who may be at risk to get vaccinated, but does not currently recommend vaccination for the general US population. So who is getting monkeypox? Well, they pretty much said it already. It seems like men who have sex with men are very much disproportionately affected. The slight recent reduction or leveling off of cases in the US has not been reported in other nations. For people who have been infected or for whom gender data is available to the CDC, 17,189 cases are men, 408 cases are women, 36 are transgender men, and 117 are transgender women. 155 are people with another gender identity. There is one person with multiple gender identities. So, this pretty much, the vast majority appear to be men. There have been 28 possible cases of children under 12 being infected with monkeypox, though the CDC says some of those cases remain under investigation. And so who should get vaccinated? Dr. Patrick Jackson, infectious disease expert at the University of Virginia, agreed with the CDC, telling Medical News Today that most people who do not have identifiable sex or occupational risk factors are unlikely to benefit from vaccination. However, he added that people should consider vaccination based on their specific risk factors. There are some people who may want to get vaccinated for monkeypox who are not men who have sex with men. For example, people who are not men who have sex with men but have sex partners who are men basically those who are partners of whatever people or men who have sex with men. This is super, redundant. Sex workers who are not men who have sex with men, and some laboratory workers. So far, demand for the vaccine has not been as robust as it could be, said Dr. William Schaffner of the Vanderbilt University School of Medicine in Nashville, Tennessee. He told Medical News Today that it took a while to get it available, but it's been available, and it's not as though there's been a huge demand. The requests have been steady, but there's nothing overwhelming. So our health departments have not been swamped, and they've taken to trying to do much more outreach to the affected population, to try to get them to come in and take advantage of the vaccine, he pointed out. Dr. Schaffner suggested that what may be behind the low demand for vaccine. I think some of the things that we've heard, Dr. Schaffner added, are that this is not really a fatal disease, sometimes very mild, and so people may not feel a sense of urgency. Monkeypox and sexual health. I can sort of understand this, but, why would you want to roll the dice with a virus? For sure, even if it's not fatal, and, many of the same arguments that apply to COVID and apply to monkeypox in terms of, we don't know the long-term effects of COVID infection. even though monkeypox is not a brand new virus, it's not perfectly well characterized. There's still stuff to learn, and I'm not sure we know all the long-term effects of monkeypox infection, and I know for sure we don't know the long-term effects of COVID-19. So monkeypox and sexual health. Dr. Schaffner further cautioned, remember, there are a lot of people who are still in the closet and coming out to a public health venue to actually request the vaccine, even though this is done in complete confidence, might make many, at least some of those people, uneasy because it exposes them potentially to being revealed. Asking for the vaccine basically says, I'm a member of this community and they may not all be ready to do that. And yeah, that's probably also another reason, maybe one of the primary reasons as to why there's this low vaccine uptake. The stigmatization of men who have sex with men. Or pretty much largely speaking, the stigmatization of the LGBTQ community. We still have a lot of work to do to normalize being proactive about sexual health and empower people to protect themselves, said Dr. Jackson. I worry that the recent reactionary turn in our political discourse, particularly aimed at transgender individuals, will only heighten that stigma and make addressing the sexual health of all people even more challenging, he added. Oh, I think we're good to go for the chat, so I'm going to put this on hold. Can you hear me?
Yo.
Good evening.
Are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Looking good.
Cool. Let's oops.
Hopefully you're able to see me.
Not yet. The camera's not there.
Oh no. Let me see if I can rectify that. Still nothing?
Yeah, it's still nothing, unfortunately. Did you start the Discord before OBS or whatever?
Possibly. 1 second.
That's the problem that I usually have. Trying to the order of operations. If you disable your OBS
Are you
camera,
sure the camera? At least it looks like it's coming through on my end.
it says camera off on yours.
Oh, maybe I should just disconnect.
There we go.
Oh, it's on
There you
now?
go.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Give me 1 second.
No rush.
Cool. Perfect. Cool. I'm good.
As am I.
Cool, man. Well, it's nice to talk to you. Got connected through Fabian Liberty. I talked to him about climate change.
Yeah.
And
so
he was like,
I watched that entire conversation.
Oh, cool.
It went in lots of different directions.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's always good to talk to people, as a scientist, to try to talk to them and talk to their audience, right? Where it's like, people that are watching, I think that people in general kind of think there's these hardcore contingencies that only watch Fabian Liberty or whoever, just because they only 100% agree with them. And I think that it's not that case. I think that there's a lot of different people that watch these streamers for a lot of different reasons. And, you can talk to them and reach out to them. And, you're never going to have a conversation where someone's like, I'm going to completely redefine all my political beliefs, but, maybe there's someone that, in their audience that has those same questions, and you're validating them and talking to them. And, yeah, maybe I'm just good for a, science discussion to be more on, platforms in general.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, did you happen to stumble upon Fabian Liberty's, Scott's channel, or Scott and Mark's channel, and then you reached out to them, or like through reaching out to them you found their channel, or you just happened to like see them on some other panel? Basically, like how did you discover that channel?
Yeah, it was just through like panels and stuff that they had been on that Scott has, goes on all the time, and it's just like an interesting ideology that he belongs to, I guess, that is kind of like an interesting take. And I've always kind of had a problem, or still like I can understand like